Mr. Mime is one of the strangest Pokemon. It can be male or female, but its name doesn't seem to change. It's also famous for being Ash's mum's counterpart in the anime. But today I'm going to answer the age-old question, can you beat Pokemon Fire Red with only Mr. Mime? Having a quick look at Mr. Mime's stats, it has 40 HP, which is really poor, but it has 100 in special attack and 120 in special defense, also having 90 speed, which is pretty decent in the early generations. But before we start, let's go over some quick rules. Well, first things first, I can only use Mr. Mime. I can use HM Pokemon, but not in battle. No glitches or exploits, no items in battle, with the exception of held items. So, with no further ado, let's begin. I start the run by using the Universal Pokemon Randomizer tool to turn Bulbasaur into Mr. Mime. I picked Bulbasaur as my rival will pick Charmander, making this probably the hardest version of this run. I'm not going to bore you with the details, this rival fight was super easy, taking out Charmander with just 2 confusions. I go to collect and deliver Oak's parcel to him. At this point in the game I have my text too fast, so that's why it's blank when there's any text dialogue. I then decided to do the rival fight outside the Elite Four early, which was a bad idea. He leads Pidgey while I obviously lead Mr. Mime. I'm fast and hit Confusion, but Pidgey uses Sand Attack. I then go for another Confusion, but miss while Pidgey connects a tackle. Next turn I luckily hit a Confusion, taking out the Pidgey. Out comes Charmander, who I hit with a Confusion and confuse it, but after that I miss Confusion after Confusion and get taken out by Charmander. Maybe I'll come back later. Next up I take on Brock, who was a massive pushover. Both Geodude and Onix go down to 2 Confusions apiece. Onix has really poor special defense, so I knew it would be easy. I then take out the Scientist in Mount Moon and pick up the mighty Helix fossil. When I say take out, it makes me sound like I'm a Hitman or something. Probably poor choice of words. We then have another rival fight. He leads Pidgeotto as always. I open with Confusion and get a critical hit, taking it out. Out comes Rattata, who after a quick attack also gets taken out with a Confusion. He then sends out Charmander, who gets critical hit by Confusion. Last is Abra, who resists a Confusion, but I think only knows Teleport. I hit it with a Confusion and a Mega Punch, winning the battle. Now, unrelated to the run, this is what I have to deal with when I'm recording this voiceover. I just have this cat constantly hounding me. Anyways, next up is Misty, who should be easy as before this I grind to level 22 learning Magical Leaf. Misty leads Staryu and I Magical Leaf, taking out in 1 hit. The reason I got Magical Leaf is because Starmie resists my Psychic type moves. Speaking of which, out comes Starmie, who gets taken out by 2 Magical Leafs, winning me the battle. On the SSN to collect the HM cut, I have to battle my rival once again. He leads Pidgeot, who gets 2-shot. Out comes Raticate, who gets critical hit by Confusion, and then I learn Psybeam in the process. Then out comes Kadabra, who's an easy 2-shot with Magical Leaf. Blasting out Charmeleon, who gets 1-shot by our new move, Psybeam. The Psychic type is crazy in Gen 1. Up next is Surge. I'm going to spare you the trouble. Nothing lives as Psybeam. They all get 1-shot. Well, except for Raichu, but he decides to set up instead of inflicting damage, so this is just an easy battle. Free win, right? And then take on Erika, whose fate is similar to Surge. Seeming 2 of the 3 Pokemon she has have the poison typing, Psybeam is super effective, 1-shotting her entire team. For real this time. I'm not lying. It actually happened. At the end of the battle, Mr. Mime tries to learn roleplay, but because this is a kid's game, I thought it'd be best not to do that. I then take on Giovanni in the game corner. He leads Onix, so I hit a super effective Magical Leaf. He then sends out Kangaskhan, who leaves a critical hit Psybeam but gets taken out the following turn. Last is Rhyhorn, who is also allergic to Magical Leaf and gets taken out in 1 hit. I have another rival fight coming up, but I'm just going to monologue over this one. I know I said it previously, but the Psychic typing is just crazy in this game. It doesn't resist, it has no resistances, it resists itself. The Dark typing doesn't exist in this game yet, because I know it technically does, but it doesn't because it's directly Gen 1. And then also 2 out of 3 of the Force battles are Team Rocket and stuff, and they all have poison types, which Psychic just deletes. But yeah, anyway, let's get back to the run. Speaking of the poison typing, up next is Koga. Koga leads Coughing, who gets 1-shot by Psybeam. Then out comes Muck, who gets 1-shot by Psychic. Then out comes another Coughing, who also gets 1-shot by Psybeam. Last out is Wheezing, who gets taken out by Psychic. Man, that was easy. Just a fun fact, I lost to a random trainer in the gym because their Drowsy kept poison gassing me and I couldn't really hit it for anything, so yeah, it's one of them weird quirky things. Another rival fight, and this time it's in Silphco. First in is Pidgeot, who takes 2 Psybeams going down. Then out comes Gyarados, who takes a Psychic, then bites me. Another Psychic takes it out. Out comes Charizard, who takes a Psychic but then decides to smoke screen me for some weird reason, then gets taken out the next turn. Out comes Execute, who I can't really hit. I go for Psychic for max damage, but it lives and stun spores me. It then outspeeds me, but I hit Psychic, taking it out. Last is Alexam, who decides to calm mine while I Psychic, doing nothing. It then Future Sights me, but I hit a critical hit Magical Leaf, winning the battle. I only really won because he refused to to do any damage to me whatsoever. Then we have Giovanni too. The number 2, not 2 as in also. So yeah, I pretty much one-shot his entire team, except for Kangaskhan, who needs 2 hits, so, but, most of his things have the poison typing, so, that old chestnut. Now for Sabrina, who is arguably my hardest battle. Hard for 2 reasons, because I couldn't find my way through her gym. I'd look up an IGN guide for this, and then also because, Psychic resists Psychic, so Sabrina leads Kadabra, and luckily I'm fast to hit Magical Leaf while she Calm Minds. And then take out Kadabra with another Magical Leaf. Then out comes Venomoth, who gets one shot by Psychic. She then sends out Mr. Mime, who eats a Magical Leaf, then Barriers. Then barely lives a Psychic and Baton passes into Alakazam. I go for Magical Leaf while Alakazam sets up Calm Mind. I then go for Psychic and get a special defense drop while she recovers. I then hit another Magical Leaf while Alakazam Future Sights. Luckily one more Magical Leaf takes it out. Last out is Mr. Mime, who has 1 HP and gets taken out. I think Alakazam was refusing to attack me because Psychic obviously resists Psychic, as I've said a billion times at this point, and it's like on the low priority of attacking for the AI. That's my theory. Now on to Blaine. Blaine was easy because Sabrina gave us the TM for Carmine, which you know we give him to Mime. Anyways, Blaine leads Growlithe and I set up Carmine while Growlithe hits Fire Blast. I then proceed to sweep his entire team. I think it's his own fault for letting me set up, like, you know, maybe practice some VGC, my guy. Next is the final gym leader, Giovanni. That's right, the Team Rocket boss, Giovanni. He leads Rhyhorn, who gets one shot by Magical Leaf, if you would believe that. He then sends out Dugtrio, who also gets one shot by Magical Leaf. He then sends out Nidoqueen, who goes down to a Psybeam, and Nidoking, who also goes down to a Psybeam. Last out is Rhyhorn, who goes down to, you guessed it, a Magical Leaf. And with that, we've defeated all the Kanto gyms. But before we can take on the Elite Four, we have one more rival fight. This is a quick speedrun round. I set up 2 Carmines on the Pidgeot and sweep his entire team. No worries, like easy peasy, lemon squeezy. But before we take on the Elite Four, let's have a quick look at Mr. Mime. Mr. Mime is level 66 with the moves Psybeam, Magical Leaf, Carmine, and Psychic. One thing I didn't mention at the beginning of this video, he has a Lonely Nature, which I believe is plus special defense and minus defense. So let's do this, let's get it done. Up first we have the Ice-type member Lorelei. She sends out Dugong and I Carmine straight away while she surfs. I set up another Carmine while she howls. I then set up a third Carmine and she Ice Beams. And now the magic happens. I then go for Magical Leaf, one-shotting the Dugong. Out comes her ace Lapras, who lives a Magical Leaf on red health and body slams me, luckily avoiding paralysis. She then heals Lapras while Magical Leaf takes it out this time. Out comes Closer, who gets one shot by Magical Leaf, and she also sends out Slowbro, who also gets one shot by Magical Leaf. Last out is Jinx, who lives as Psychic and then Ice Punches. I then Psybeam twice not to waste Psychics, taking out the Jinx. Man, thank God for Carmine. Up next is the Fighting type leader, Bruno. Bruno leads Onix and I set up a Calm Mind, while he Rock Tombs, lowering my speed. Luckily I'm still faster and take it out with a Magical Leaf. Out comes Hitmonchan, who gets one shot by Psybeam, and he sends out Hitmonlee, who also gets one shot by Psybeam. Another Onix and another Magical Leaf takes it out. Last out is Machamp, who gets taken out by Psychic. I actually didn't think this would kill it, I thought it was going to be a 2-shot at minimum. Next up is the Ghost type member, Agatha. Agatha leads Gengar. I set up Carmine while Gengar double teams. I then Psybeam the Gengar, taking it out with a critical hit, which I don't think mattered. She then sends out Golbat, who also gets one shot by Psybeam. Next is Arbok and Psybeam takes it out. Another Gengar and Psybeam does the trick. Last is Haunter and you guessed it, I take it out with a Psybeam. I didn't lose a single hit point, it's actually like kinda wild. Next up is the Dragon type member Lance, and a bit of a disclaimer, I needed really good RNG to beat him. Before the battle I swapped Magical Leaf for Thunder Shock, as Magical Leaf has done its purpose. And like a really good purpose at that. Lance leads Gyarados and I start to set up Carmines. In order to beat Dragonite, I need to set up at least 3 Carmines. So I need to either get bitten and Hyper Beamed or Dragon Rage 3 times in a row. But every time my health went into the orange, I would get Hyper Beamed and it would take me out. So at this point I started using save states because I don't think my level was the issue here. It was literally just RNG. A few attempts later, I get the run. I set up my 3 Carmines and I Shockwave the Gyarados. Then he sends out Aerodactyl, who gets one shot by Shockwave. Out comes Dragonite and I take it out with a Psychic. He then sends out his 2 Dragonairs, who both go down to a Psychic apiece. Damn, that was lucky. Last up is the champion, and who else could it be but our rival? He leads Pidgeot and I Carmine, while he Sand Attacks, which isn't good for me. I then set up a second Carmine while he Aerial Aces me. I then Shockwave the Pidgeot the next turn, taking it out. He then sends out Gyarados, who goes down to 1 Shockwave. Next is Charizard, who lives the Shockwave and Aerial Aces me. I then set up a Carmine again, expecting the full restore, but he uses Aerial Ace instead, taking me out. The next attempt, I set up 3 Carmines on the Pidgeot and take it out as well as the Gyarados. Now I'm back to Charizard, who gets taken out by a Shockwave for this time around. See, all I needed was that one more Carmine. Next is Alakazam, who survives a Shockwave and Psychics me, but I take it out the next turn. Next is Rhydon, who has horrible special defense, and I take it out with Psychic. Last is Exeggutor, who I Psychic doing half while he uses Sleep Powder, luckily missing. I then go for another Psychic, but I miss thanks to the earlier Sand Attack. Then that Coconut Tree guy hits the Sleep Powder. I get my first turn of sleep and get Seed Bomb, which does a lot. I then get extremely lucky and wake up the next turn and finish it off with a Psychic, which I think may have been a higher roll. And that's it, I've beaten Pokemon Fire Red with only Mr. Mime. Cool. Well, that was surprisingly easy. This was actually so easy, and took me, I think, less than 2 hours that I actually completed another run on the same day. Which will be coming out in anywhere between 2 to 4 weeks. So look forward to that one. I'm not going to spoil anything. It's not very good though. It was probably the worst one I did. It took way longer. I also want to thank anyone who has found my channel through the bug type video. That's probably my best, not probably, it is my best performing video yet. Thank you for everyone for the feedback and giving me your opinions on the bug type. I really appreciate it, especially because I've only been doing this for about 3 or 4 months now. I'm also aware I think I've got a few things wrong. I'm a bit like Ron Burgundy in the sense that if I've written it down, I will read it, like every bit of it. It's not until I go through the editing where I'm like, I think just before I think I said seed bomb, which actually meant egg bomb, but little goofy things like that make you people hopefully rage enough to actually comment and call me out, but I'm already calling myself out. But yeah, that's it for this video. I do appreciate anyone who has made it this far into the video. I hope you look forward to next week's video, which will be me going over the fossil types. Hopefully, if that's not soon, it will be, if it's not next week, it will be soon. Cat, please don't touch my microphone because I'm recording. Or she hit something, goddamn. Anyway, yeah, thank you all for watching. Don't forget to like and subscribe. Also follow me on Twitter, and I'll also be setting up a Discord very soon for anyone who wants to participate in Pokemon metronome battles and or rock, paper, scissors battles. So, again, thank you all for watching, and I will see you next time. Peace out.